Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Alicia and today we are making a rainbow sprinkle cake. This is a 6-layer cake and for that you are going to need 6 large eggs, which I've weighed and came to 405 grams, so I've got the same weight in softened butter, caster sugar and self-raising flour which has been sifted. I've also got 4 tablespoons of whole milk and a teaspoon of vanilla. I've got some gel food colourings which are Wilton and Sugarflair to make the rainbow colours. I've got a spatula, knife and cocktail sticks, and I've also got some 6-inch cake tins which I've grease lined and floured, and of course my trusty crook stand mixer. The next thing I'm going to do is preheat my oven to 160 degrees Celsius, and that's for a fan assisted oven, and I'm actually doing my cake mixture in 2 halves because I've only got 3 6-inch cake tins. But the first thing you want to do to make your cake is cream together the butter and sugar, and we're going to mix this on a medium to high speed for at least 5 minutes until it is pale and fluffy, just like this. Now it's time to add the eggs, and as you can see here I've only got 3 eggs, and that's because, as I mentioned before, I am doing my cake in 2 halves. If like me you are doing it in 2 batches as well, you probably want to add them in 1 at a time, but if you're doing it in a full batch you want to add them in 2 at a time. And I'm going to mix this for a few minutes between each egg, or each 2 eggs going in, until it looks a little bit like this. Now I'm going to add in the milk and vanilla, and you just want your stand mixer on a really low speed for this until it is all combined. Now it's time to add the flour. I'm going to mix this on the lowest speed possible until it's just combined, and I'm going to finish folding it in by hand. You want to be really gentle with this. You want to divide your mixture equally between the number of cake tins that you've got, and I'm actually going to weigh mine just to make sure that the cake layers are as even as possible. Now it's time for the colouring, which is one of the coolest parts because it's where your cake really starts to come to life. As I said before, I'm using gel food colouring, and I'd always recommend gel food colouring over liquid because it doesn't change the consistency of your batter. I'm adding a few blobs in and I'm folding it in gently. It doesn't look very gentle in this because I've sped it up, but I promise it is gentle in real life. Now I'm going to pop the batter into their tins and level it out. The cake mixture is ready, so we're going to bake this for 22 to 25 minutes at 160 degrees Celsius. So that's the cakes out of the oven now, and they're completely cool. So the next step I'm going to take is to remove some of the caramelization off the cake to reveal the vibrant colours. So I've got a long serrated sharp knife, and I'm just going to work the knife around the cake, making sure it's horizontal, and just cut the top off. And I'm also going to remove the caramelization from the outside. You can use a template for this, but I just do it by eye. So I'm just taking a smaller but still sharp knife and just working around the outside. You just want to take the slightest bit of cake off, literally just the caramelization, to reveal the cake. And I'm going to repeat the process for the rest of the layers. And make the vanilla buttercream now. So I've got 375 grams of softened unsalted butter here, which I'm going to chop into smaller pieces, and you want this to be really soft, ideally leaving it out for at least 4 hours at room temperature. I'm going to mix this for at least 5 minutes until it is pale and silky, as you can see here. I'm going to add in the sifted icing sugar now, and I've got 750 grams, and you want to add this in 2 stages. You want to watch and do this slowly because otherwise you're going to get icing sugar all over your kitchen. So start it off on the slowest speed possible, work it up to a medium speed for about 3 minutes each time. And this is what it should look like once all the icing sugar is combined. As you can see, it is really pale and fluffy. It is a little bit stiff, but that's why we're going to add the milk in. So I've got 5 tablespoons of whole milk here, mixed with a teaspoon of vanilla, and I'm going to add this in really slowly just until it's all combined. And that is your buttercream complete. It's really easy to do and it's such a simple recipe, and it tastes delicious. Now it's time to decorate, which is my second favourite part after taste testing, of course. So make sure your cakes are completely cool at this stage, otherwise you're going to have a sloppy mess all over the place. And I'm going to pop a bit of buttercream down on my base or on your cake board just to act as a glue. Then put your first layer down. I am using purple to red, but you can use red to purple if you like. And put a dollop of buttercream on, and then with a palette knife I'm just going to smooth it around and level it off to create a really even layer, and repeat the process for the rest of the layers. it's time for the crumb coat, and a crumb coat is just a really thin layer of buttercream to lock all the crumbs in place. So with the excess from in between the layers, I'm just going to use my palette knife and use a forward and backwards motion, pushing the crumbs into the cake and getting some fresh buttercream when I need it, starting from the top and working my way down. And once I've got all the buttercream on, so the cake is covered, I'm going to get my scraper and I'm going to smooth it off, making sure that your scraper is flat to the board. As you can see, I'm just working my way around the cake and on the top, smoothing it all off, and I'm just getting some extra buttercream where I feel I need it. And once you're happy that you've got a really smooth base, we're going to pop this in the fridge for about 45 minutes, and I want it to really chill down and solidify. So that's been in the fridge for 45 minutes, so now it's time to move on to the final layer of buttercream, and this is going to be a bit of a thicker layer. I usually aim for about a 1 centimetre thickness of buttercream all around. So I'm going to get a few dollops of buttercream and place it on the top and work it around my cake and down. And I'm going to work the buttercream into the cake, moving a forward and backward motion again. And once I feel like I've got enough buttercream on my cake, I'm going to grab my scraper and again using the same smoothing action until I've got a really smooth base. And then we're going to pop it in the fridge for 30 minutes. I'm not going to leave it as long this time because although I want it to chill down and solidify, I want the sprinkles to stick to it. So you just want to check it probably after about 25-30 minutes. Now it's sprinkle time, which is where the cake comes to life even more because we've got a really bland white base at the minute and we're going to chuck a load of colours on there. So I'm going to grab a handful of sprinkles, working from the bottom and just moving my hand gently upwards and pressing it gently into the buttercream. You just want to move around, adding as many sprinkles as you like, and if you feel that the cake is starting to get warm and a bit melty under the warmth of your hands, which it can, don't be afraid to just put it in the fridge for another 10 minutes to solidify and then carry on putting your sprinkles on. I'm going to grab my cake scraper and I'm just moving it around the cake as close to the cake as I can without taking any icing off, just to remove the excess sprinkles from my cake stand. And for the final touches, I'm going to get some of my excess buttercream and do some buttercream swirls on top and finish it off with a few extra sprinkles. Is the cake complete, and now it is my favourite part, the taste test time, and this is where we get to see all the rainbow colours as well, so wait for it. Ta-da! It looks so cool, doesn't it? But then I end up breaking it trying to get it on the plate, but it is a really tall cake, guys. Anyway, as you can see, the cake is really fluffy, the buttercream's silky, and the colours are really vibrant. So now it's time to taste it. Yummy! And that is the cake complete. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, it would mean the world to me if you subscribed and liked this video, and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!